Welcome to the I Told You So podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Kohl. I started this podcast because I noticed an erosion of societal discourse and how normal conversations are fueled by polarization. The I Told You So podcast offers an opportunity for healthy discourse and effective debate. I select topics to discuss and debate with listeners and guests of the I Told You So podcast. Listeners and guests predict what will happen in the future. I track predictions and announce who predicted accurately when those predictions become true. Discussions and debates can be about any topic and should be focused on what will happen in the future. The podcast offers topics where listeners and guests can discuss and debate with the goal of predicting the future so they can proudly say, I told you so. On this episode, I talk about in vitro fertilization. The recent landmark decision by the Alabama State Supreme Court last month has stirred significant attention, particularly due to its implications regarding the legal status of human embryos. This ruling, which affirms that human embryos are considered children under Alabama law and the state constitution, regardless of their location, marks a notable departure from the conventional legal interpretations. The case before the Alabama Supreme Court involved 3 couples whose embryos were stored in Mobile, Alabama by the Center of Reproductive Medicine. Unauthorized access to the storage facility led to the destruction of these embryos, prompting the couples to seek legal recourse. Lower courts had initially ruled against the couples, but the Supreme Court's decisive 7-2 ruling overturned these decisions. Associate Justice James Mitchell, in the majority opinion, highlighted Alabama's clear legal stance that considers a child as such from fertilization to natural death. The ruling emphasized that the protection of children extends to unborn children, irrespective of their developmental stage or physical location. The significance of this ruling extends beyond legal technicalities because it challenges people to grapple with the moral complexities of assisted reproductive technologies. While many people have been reluctant to confront these issues, the Alabama Supreme Court's thorough deliberation serves as a catalyst for moral reflection. The ruling's emphasis on physical location underscores the fallacy in arguments that seek to differentiate the legal status of embryos based on their location. Whether in a womb or in a freezer, a human embryo is unequivocally a human being entitled to legal protection. Critics of this decision have raised concerns about its potential impact on in vitro fertilization procedures and broader reproductive rights debates. These concerns highlight the need for nuanced understanding of the ethical implications of assisted reproductive technologies. The commodification of human embryos and the selective destruction inherent in certain in vitro fertilization practices pose significant moral dilemmas. Should the pursuit of technology-driven solutions to fertility challenges be tempered by a commitment to upholding the sanctity of human life and dignity? Couples navigating in vitro fertilization procedures face difficult choices, but they can mitigate moral risks by prioritizing the use of gametes from within the marriage and avoiding practices that compromise the dignity of human life. The Alabama Supreme Court's ruling prompts a critical examination of societal attitudes toward human life and reproduction. The ruling has significant implications not only for in vitro fertilization procedures and modern reproductive technologies, but also for our understanding of human identity and the moral status of human embryos. This decision has thrust into the spotlight an issue that many have avoided or overlooked for decades. It forces us to confront a fundamental question. What exactly is a human embryo? The lines are being drawn before our eyes, and we cannot afford to ignore them any longer. The response has been telling. The New Republic, a prominent thought magazine, reacted with alarm, with a headline article, quote, "Alabama Supreme Court cites the Bible in terrifying embryo ruling," unquote. NBC News released an article titled, quote, "Doctors and patients fearfully proceed with in vitro fertilization after Alabama court rules embryos are children," unquote. At the heart of this issue lies a simple yet profound question. If an embryonic child is not considered a child, then what is it? The Alabama Supreme Court's ruling affirms that an unborn child is indeed a child under the law, but it also exposes the lack of consensus on when personhood begins. This ruling underscores the importance of maintaining a worldview that upholds the sanctity of human life from conception. It challenges people to engage in reflection on complex ethical issues surrounding assisted reproductive technologies. The NBC report sheds light on the troubling practice of selecting embryos based on genetic characteristics deemed quote-unquote normal. This commodification of human life reduces embryos to mere products, which are subject to consumer preferences. It raises profound moral questions about the value and dignity of every human being. As this debate unfolds in our culture, people must not shy away from engaging with moral clarity. It's no doubt that the recent ruling of the Alabama Supreme Court regarding the destruction of frozen embryos in a laboratory accident has ignited a crucial conversation about the moral and legal status of human embryos. The court's decision affirmed that regardless of their location, human embryos are to be recognized and protected as such under Alabama law, which has long regarded unborn children as children. This ruling underscores the invincible logic that if human life begins at fertilization, then the destruction of embryos carries legal consequences irrespective of the circumstances. The implications of this decision extend beyond the legal realm, touching on complex ethical issues surrounding assisted reproductive technologies like in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization presents a moral dilemma as it involves the creation and selection of embryos, leading to millions of frozen embryos awaiting fate, including potential destruction. The collision of worldviews surrounding this issue is evident in the political discourse, with both sides acknowledging the broader implications beyond abortion. Liberals view the pro-life movement as a threat to progress, while conservatives emphasize the moral imperative to protect all human life, regardless of its stage of development. As the debate continues to unfold, it will force individuals and policymakers to grapple with fundamental questions about the value and dignity of human life. The outcome of these discussions will not only shape legal precedents, but also reflect societal attitudes toward the sanctity of life from conception. Because this is a podcast about predicting the future, my questions to those listening are, what happens next with in vitro fertilization? Will other states follow Alabama's ruling example? What are the future implications of in vitro fertilization for states that don't follow Alabama's ruling? Let me know. Text or call 1-785-473-3721 or send an email message to ITYS at BenKohlITYS.com. That's ITYS at BenKohlITYS.com, or post on any of my social media channels. If there's another podcast platform you prefer, let me know that too. Go to the I Told You So podcast website at BenKohlITYS.com to connect and get your own I Told You So items at the merchandise link. We have shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. We have all kinds of merchandise, coffee mugs, whatever you want. It's all there. I offer a safe space for healthy discourse and effective debate with the goal of predicting the future so you can proudly say, I told you so. Also, if your business or organization is interested in advertising on the I Told You So podcast, please let me know. Thanks for tuning in to the I Told You So podcast. Followers are very important, and so please follow, like, subscribe, give a high rating, and share with your friends. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Ben Kohl, and I hope to hear from you soon.